Yes, welcome back to a new episode of the podcast Tattoos Enzo. For those of you that are new here, I'm Rod Priest. I'm a tattoo artist from Amsterdam, specialized in lettering, dark art, fine line, and portraits. And in this podcast, I'm having conversations with interesting people from the tattoo culture. And today, we are joined, I can't believe that he's here. We are joined by one of the best tattoo artists from Australia. It's none other than Raydems.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, how you doing, man?
We're in Amsterdam,
Oh,
a
we're in
long way
Amsterdam.
away from Australia.
You've been here already a couple times before?
This is my fourth time in Amsterdam. Second time tattooing here.
Yes.
The other time's just quick visit, smoke some weed, and do some
Nice.
painting and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to
420,
be back.
420. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're here because you're going to the Gods of Ink Tattoo Convention?
Yes, it'll be my first time attending Gods of Ink this year. Very excited. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Do you feel like Gods of Ink is at the moment like the most important one in Europe?
Yes, definitely. For me, the top three conventions across the world are definitely Milano, Mondial in Paris, and Gods of Ink. Paris is an amazing show, but obviously Gods really has like it's top tier at the moment. So
Yes.
yeah, very big deal to be attending and getting amongst it with heaps of crazy artists from around the world. So yeah.
Because if I'm correct, this convention, Gods of Ink, is also that you can only attend on invite, right?
Pretty much, yes. I think for the most part, the first couple of years were pretty well invite only, and it still pretty much is. I think like a lot of like brands and stuff like that are now selecting their best artists and
Yes.
putting their best artists forward to represent their companies. But for the most part, you've still got to be accepted by the person who runs the show, which is Mickey Violetto. So, you know, it's very much invite only, really. You can hit them up and ask, but you'll be put on a waiting list or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very
Super nice, man.
very big deal sort of thing. So yeah, crazy.
Nice. And how did you start tattooing?
I was always collecting tattoo magazines when I was really young. So I was, and my parents had tattoos and stuff like that. So I was very infatuated by tattooing from a very young age, probably like 13, 14. I actually didn't get into the tattoo industry until I was about 28. I wanted to tattoo when I was about 18, 19. But back in that era, it was really hard to get into the tattoo industry. It was not what you could do, it was who you knew.
Yes.
So unfortunately, it took me a good 10 years to get in. But in the meantime, I was trying shops and some of them didn't want apprentices. Some of the shops got burnt down, part of,
Wow.
you know, beef or like ownership, whatever. And yeah, it just took a while to get into a shop that really wanted to take me on. So I was just doing a lot of graffiti and artwork in the meantime. Just staying busy with the art, really. I was always passionate about it, regardless whether I was going to be a tattooer or not. So I just fell into place when I hit my late 20s, and I managed to come across a studio who was looking for someone, and I had some good artwork. So they were pretty keen to chuck me on, and kind of took off from there. So yeah.
Nice. And I feel like most of your tattoo work now is like dark art kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
But would you say when you started tattooing, you were already doing this style, or
Yes.
it
Yeah.
developed?
Definitely. It was definitely a lot more premature. Like I wasn't very good at it, like to some extent, maybe. Like I remember in high school, I was drawing some organic-ish mechy sort of stuff. And there was a few drawings that were definitely ahead of my time. But there was obviously a lot of garbage. So
Yes.
when I got into tattooing, I was pretty well set on what I wanted to do, what I wanted to tattoo, which was like the creepy shit and the more organic shit. So
Yeah.
I started freehanding like straight away. I was doing creepy characters already. But I was tattooing a bit of everything as well. I was tattooing graffiti, lettering, and portraits, basic realism and stuff like that, walk-in stuff. But yeah, I very quickly knew and transitioned into what I do now. So yeah, it was there already.
And how did you came up with the name Raydems? Like, does it mean something? Like, what's the story behind the name?
It's a funny one, that one. So I had a tag when I was in late primary school. I was in like, I think it's called year 7 in Australia, which is like the last year of primary school. And someone had gave me the tag to write up as a graffiti artist frame.
Yes.
And there was already like an old school graffiti artist who wrote that. So when I got into the first year of high school, I was like, I really got to find a new tag to, graph up. And I was on Google Maps looking in my area that I grew up in at the street signs, street names. And where I grew up, a lot of the street names were based off of Polish suburbs or Polish areas in Poland. So there was Lodz, there was Warsaw, and then there was, I don't know how to say it in Poland, or how they say it in Poland, but there was another one called Radom, Radom, and I started tagging that up, and everyone was saying Radom, and I was like, oh, that sounds a bit ratty. So I was like, fuck it, we're gonna like change the spelling. So I kind of was like, let's put a Y in there, let's change the O to an E and chuck an S on the end.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like took a street name and like changed the spelling of it essentially. And so it started off as a graffiti tag, and I was into a lot of hip hop music back in those days as well. So it wasn't just my graffiti tag, it was my stage name. So I guess pretty naturally I drifted that into my tattoo name as well. So yeah, that's how that came about.
It's a really good story.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, well.
Like not many would really suspect that's where it originates from. But yeah, it was a street below where my mum lived too.
Yes.
So I was like, oh yeah, we'll do that one.
But did you also grew up in Australia?
Yes, yeah, south of Australia. I was there for most of my life. I'd never travelled until maybe like late teenage years. I went to Melbourne, but it was more like regional Melbourne, like Victoria. So not in the city really. But yeah, it was pretty like trapped and like confined into just that area for most of my life until I started getting into graffiti and tattooing. So then I was able to travel more and see a bit more of the world and or the country itself. So yeah.
Okay, let me just check something real quick.
Still recording?
Yeah, I was like, bro, what if I didn't press the record button?
Oh man.
No,
I feel you.
but like, in what way would you say did your the way how you grew up influence your tattoos or the art that you're making?
That's a tough one to relate, or like it's a tough one to turn around and say, hey, like this is what I took from how I grew up and put into my art. It was kind of just like it just happened. I had a cousin who was doing a lot of creepy, old school creepy tattoo flash, which had elements of Japanese drawings in it, but it was more like the old school creepy flash you would get back in the day. He was doing a lot of that in jail and stuff like that and sending me pictures. Yeah. So I kind of got a bit inspired by some of his drawings and stuff like that earlier on. But yeah, I don't think there was anything that really, for me personally, there's not a lot that struck me and made me go, this is what I want to do, other than just influence from family member who was drawing not similar shit, but along those lines. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that kind of crafted the direction of what I wanted to draw throughout time. So
yes.
Yeah.
And one question that almost all of my customers ask me is, what is your craziest tattoo story?
Oh, like someone I've tattooed and what's happened. I don't want to say it because my client would probably kill me, but I'm gonna have to. So it was like the start of the year, first week back to work, and I had this new client come in. He had made some weed butter, but he put way too much weed to the ratio of butter.
Yes.
So he made a very potent batch,
Ooh.
and he said to me he had a couple cookies, and when he said a couple cookies, I was like thinking to myself, you only need like a quarter or half of a cookie. Like, what the fuck? But I didn't know that till later. But essentially, he's come in looking like he's smoked a fuckload of weed before the appointment, like super stoned. He's come in with freehand on the front of his shin. I did about 7 lines with the tattoo machine, like just small little bits down on the shin. And next minute he started convulsing and he's like thrown back and he's like,
Oh shit.
so almost like a seizure kind of situation. His eyes rolled back into his head. His kind of like his body's gone a bit stiff, and then out of nowhere he just chucked up all green vomit on his lap, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like shaking, like having a fit. It felt like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but it was probably like 30 seconds to a minute. It was just, we kind of, me and my coworker, we panicked. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Our apprentice at the time had just walked in for his first day back. And as he's walked in, this dude's projecting vomit on himself. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And it was just so smelly. I was like, fuck. He snapped out of it. I'm like, bro, like, do you have epilepsy? And he's like, no, I don't. Like, this has never happened before. And I've taken him out the front, given him a heap of paper towel to clean the vomit off of his beard and stuff. Luckily, the vomit landed only on him, not over anyone else or anything else.
Not on you.
Yeah, not on me. And we've walked out the front. I'm like, bro, I don't know what we're going to do for the rest of the day, because you've just got vomit everywhere and it's obviously like not a nice smell. And he goes, bro, we're not tattooing for the rest of the day. And I'm like okay, like, and he's like, I've shot myself too. So
Ooh.
at the same time of vomiting, he's shot himself. And he lived about an hour and a half away from the tattoo studio. He drove up in his van, and I was just like, we're gonna have to just finish it off another time. And he's like, yeah, man, like I'm fucking embarrassed. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get tattooed today, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, fair enough, man. Like, I didn't know you shot yourself as well. But I think that's probably one of the craziest stories. But yeah, that day I said to him, like, you know, did you have epilepsy? And he's like, nah, I did have some weed cookies last night. And I was like, weed cookies? And he's like, yeah. And then next time I tattooed him, he told me he gave that batch of butter to a friend, and his friend had an episode as well, but not like his, but it was very potent stuff. So he was still affected by it the next day later.
Wow.
That's probably one of the craziest stories I've got. Other than that, it's just people who have asked for crazy shit, and I've not actually tattooed them. So
Yeah,
definitely the craziest story.
That's a solid story.
It is, yeah. And you know what? All my co-workers were like, he's never coming back. Like, and then he did. And one of the funniest things about his comeback, everyone was like, bro, I would have left the state.
Yeah.
Like, props to him for coming back. Like, they were like, what a legend. And he said, oh, I need to go to the toilet. I said, oh, do you know where the toilet was? And he goes, nah, unfortunately, last time I didn't make it. He wore it with like a joke, you know. So that's
amazing.
Yeah, he
Shout out to him.
Handled it really well. Props to that guy, the legend. I hate to tell the story, but he fucking wore it really well. So he made fun of a awkward, embarrassing situation. So.
And what tattoo machine are you using?
Many. At the moment, I've got like over 30 tattoo machines. I was using Inkjector for years, and I still jump on the Inkjector here and there. And then as of recent, over the last year or so, I was using the ink machines Cobra. But more lately, I've been using the Easy machines
Yes.
and the Ink In machines, which I think they're the same company. So I've been using the Rampage by Ink In, and the P3 Turbo, I think it's called, from Easy. I'm always changing, to be honest, but the top three machines as of current are Easy, Ink In, and Ink machines. So yeah.
Nice. And do you feel like attending tattoo conventions contributes to your tattoo career, like in general as a tattoo artist?
Definitely. I've seen a lot of people talk about how, it's a bit of a gimmick. Like in terms of like, they're like, oh, they say tattoo conventions help. They don't. They just want to take your money and stuff like that. And I beg to differ. I feel like tattoo conventions are super important to do. If you want to make a name for yourself and expand your work out to other people, like other clientele, that's the best way to do it. Especially, in Australia, there's the major states. If you're doing those conventions in each major state, you're going to find clientele who are going to travel from those states to where you're from to get tattooed by you. Obviously, it's a lot different if you're doing conventions in another country. You're not necessarily going to get clients coming to Australia. I mean, sometimes you will, but for the most part, you're more setting it up so that way when you come back to that country or to Europe, for an example, someone's going to want to go to that destination you're going to in Europe to get tattooed by you.
Yes.
So they're willing to travel from, say, maybe France to Amsterdam or Germany to Amsterdam, etc., etc. So for me personally, I feel like the exposure and the networking amongst other tattooers and also collectors and general public is very important in terms of pushing your career forward. Yeah, I definitely feel like it helps put yourself out there and get more work and get more exposure.
Nice. And this question is like maybe a little bit two-part question. So me as a tattoo artist myself, one big motivation for me is when I look at like top tattoo artists and then I see the things they do. For example, you and other artists, and not necessarily how you tattoo, but like the amount of work you put in and stuff like this,
Yes.
But so the first part of the question is, do you relate with this, that this maybe in the past was also one of your motivations? And the second part of the question is, like, when you achieve like a certain level, how do you make sure you don't like fall off?
Good question. First one, the first part of it, I can definitely say even still to this day, there's a lot of artists that inspire me to grow and push forward. So, I definitely was earlier in my career, I definitely had a lot of artists that I was very inspired by who, definitely made me want to push further in.
Yes.
But then in trying to maintain that is, I think when you get to a certain level of tattooing, you're at the end of the day, we're our own worst critics. So we're going to be the first person to go, that's not the best tattoo that I've done, and kind of beat yourself up about it. But, and I think that's a healthy thing to do because it makes you grow as an artist. But you're continuously questioning yourself, like, am I good enough? Am I staying up to what I'm known for? The pressure definitely is real when it comes to like not falling off. You know what I mean? Like when you are recognized and doing big things in your career and stuff like that, you start to get to a point like, man, I really got to make sure I get every tattoo looking sick and not fall off. So yeah, I guess like it's hard. Like I continuously question myself. Have I fallen off? Am I falling off? Will I fall off? You know what I mean? And it's just this constant race to make sure that we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, because no one wants to fall off.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have tattoo session playlist, like music wise?
We work at a pretty busy studio, so there's about 12 artists. So it's a very shared situation. They have a pretty regular playlist that they play, and so do I, to be honest. But like sometimes if I'm not digging the music that's being played and I want to get in the zone, I'll put my headphones on. And when I put the headphones on, then yeah, I've got like a very set playlist. So
What's like one of your go-to artists or bands?
Kublai Khan,
Kublai Khan.
yeah, from Texas,
Nice.
hardcore. And then I listen to a lot of hip hop still as well. So there's definitely a lot of hip hop, but that kind of is a bit all over the place. I think when it comes to the main things that I would play, it'd be like Knocked Loose, Kublai Khan, more recently Justice for the Damned, which is an Australian band. A lot of hardcore music, to be honest. Like, I like a bit of everything. I like all different types of genres. So, even like a lot of drum and bass and UK hip hop, grime, American hip hop, even a bit of Australian hip hop. But yeah, Kublai Khan and Knock Loose seem to be top of the playlist and very constant.
They're super nice.
Yeah, good shit. And it fits the aesthetics of
Yes,
what I do.
100%.
Yeah, so you got this real cool, like dark, grimy, freehand bio-organic piece, and you're like, we're gonna open that up with the breakdown of that song. You know what I mean? So it just fits.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it works.
And what's your favorite movie?
Oh fuck, Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
What? I've never heard about that one.
You haven't heard of the
Mighty
Mighty
Ducks.
Ducks, like the hockey team?
No way, I haven't heard about that one.
How old are you, bro?
34.
Oh, surely you would have come across it.
Mighty
Maybe,
Ducks.
maybe not. Yeah, Mighty Ducks. That's a good one. It's nostalgic.
Like, what's the genre?
Pardon?
What is the genre of the movie? Is it like a horror or comedy or like?
Just like sports, really, because it's ice hockey. So
It's ice hockey, okay.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
And Mighty Ducks is a real team, like from Anaheim, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so it's pretty much loosely based on the real, not like it's based on the real hockey team, but it's just its own little storyline of just. It's kind of got a bit of comedy in it. I guess you could say it's a bit of a comedy. It's a bit of a comedy. Yeah.
That's nice. For sure, I will watch this one tonight. Mighty Ducks.
Fuck yeah. There's 2 or 3 of them.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
that's nice. And do you also have a favorite body part to tattoo?
Oh, it used to be the inner bicep. Not so much now. I like the leg. I like the back of the thigh. That's a really cool spot. I don't know why. It's it's just really nice to tattoo, and it's got a big, wide, and long area, so you can really you don't have to stress about stuff wrapping too much and stuff like that. But yeah, the upper thigh in general, but definitely the back of the thigh is a really cool spot. And I don't know why lately I've been really enjoying feet and armpits.
Armpits as well.
Yeah.
Feet I can understand, but armpits, like what? Okay.
Yeah, it gets very irritated sometimes depending
like,
on the client.
Do you tell your customer to shave before they come, or like do you do that, or like how does it work with the armpit?
I don't really tell them anything. I let them do it, or if they don't do it, I'll do it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I just tell them if they do it, make sure you don't hack yourself up.
Yes,
because
yes.
sometimes people will shave it a little too hard and they'll cut themselves, and they come in with a bit of the skin's looking a little bit like minced already. I'm like, fuck.
Wow. But then when you tattoo the armpit, do you also have like in your vision like specific subjects that like are exclusively good for that area?
Not really. I think one thing that I do enjoy about the armpits is when someone's already got everything else around it, surrounded with existing work, and then it just makes my job more cohesive to like fit in that area. So I don't know what it is. I think it's just it's an interesting area, and yeah, I really don't have a subject that I go for when I tattoo it. But yeah, it's just more of a crazier spot, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, when you showcase a tattoo on social media, an armpit's definitely going to get some attention because people are going to go, fuck that, you know,
Yeah,
like
man.
that shit hurts.
Shit, I don't have mine, but in the future, definitely I will get them done. But already now I'm so scared for
Yeah.
them. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, same as you said, I feel like it's so ugly and annoying when somebody has like the front done, the back done, the arms done, then here's like an empty space.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
feel like it's the same with the ass. If you have like leg sleeve and then your back piece, but your ass is like
Yep.
white, completely
It's
white. I'm
very
like, bro,
odd. Yeah,
looks so weird, you know?
definitely. Yeah, it's I got a pretty big OCD with like the space that's remaining after a tattoo. So if it doesn't complete it in a way that looks like a leg sleeve or a sleeve or something like that, you know, if there's a gap under the butt cheek, for an example, I'm like, fuck, we got to like really just cap it up to the crease of the cheek, so that way it's like full, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And then even like now, when I do a leg sleeve, I always ask my client, or not even ask sometimes, like almost assert to them that I'm doing their foot part of the leg, because it just looks so much more full and
Yes.
complete when you utilize the foot with the leg, same as the hand with the arm sleeve. So yeah, I think like gaps and stuff like that, real awkward gaps and different parts of the body, you just go, fuck it, let's just utilize that whole room. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be like, fuck, we could have really pushed that out a bit more and utilized the room a bit better. So yeah, definitely feel like my inner OCD is just like, fuck, we got to fill everything. Like we got to make sure it looks finished up to where it needs to be finished to. So
Yes.
yeah.
And when you are like a traveling tattoo artist, do you experience that in certain part of the world, the customers ask you different things, or
In regards to,
for example, when you work in Australia, your customers are a little bit different than Europe or America or Asia,
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that?
It's definitely a bit of a culture shock or a bit of a language barrier. Not always. A lot of clients that I've tattooed over here in Europe and stuff like that, they're, you know, they do speak English. Every now and then you find clients when come to Europe who are a bit more like their English is not super strong, so the communication is very limited. We try to kind of just make sure we cover all areas before we start or of conversation, and then or if not, prior to the appointment through messages, because yeah, sometimes there has been a little bit of a language barrier, and because I'm Australian as fuck, sometimes my use of words and slang can kind of confuse the European people.
Yeah.
So yeah, conversations can be tricky sometimes with certain people from certain countries. I find France is pretty hard. The English is a bit more broken there. Sometimes you find people who are a bit more fluent, but yeah, it's definitely a lot more difficult in France, I think, trying to converse with clients who don't have like crazy English. So, but overall, I think a lot of my clients have some similarities. You know, they're all into metal or hip hop, so we can find some common ground and talk about some common shit. But yeah, it's definitely different from tattooing Australian clients who, you know, they know the slang that I use, and you know, we're all from the same country, so it's kind of a bit more easier to engage with them if they're social people, like socially social people. So yeah, yeah, very very different over here though, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And do you still write graffiti?
Not illegally.
Not illegally.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. Kids, having kids, I think, really makes you go, all right, I've got to be responsible now. So, and funny enough, I started tattooing just as my little man came along, or was we were aware of that. So that was the moment I was like, right, we're going to stop doing what we've been doing. And now I just kind of, when I barely do graffiti orientated stuff nowadays, but if I do it, it's usually legal. Find a wall that you're allowed to do it on and paint that, just so that way I don't have to worry about the repercussions of getting done by police or anything like that. So yeah, a lot different now, but I'm still heavily into it. I still love it, and when I get the chance outside of tattooing, I'll have a paint for sure.
And what is like your favorite form of graffiti? For example, like a blockbuster, tag, piece, throw up.
Ooh, wild style.
Wild style?
Yeah, for sure. Or
Whoa.
like even semi-wild style. Like
Okay.
it's like a wild style essentially back in the day was like crazy shit you can't read.
Yes.
Just extensions everywhere, all that sort of stuff. Whereas semi-wild style is a bit more broken down, a bit more legible, a bit more readable, but still got the same sort of grittiness. I really love the LA graffiti, like and fuck San Francisco graffiti and shit like that. They're very wild with it. They're very chiseled and that's my favorite type of graffiti is stuff that's just hectic and wild. So
Like hardcore.
yeah, definitely. You can't read it unless you know. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's good shit.
So yeah, most of your work is like this dark bio stuff.
Yep.
But also some days ago, I saw on your Instagram, I think it was in your stories, a tattoo that you made of a portrait.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, this is fucking sick.
Thanks, man.
But
Thank you.
I didn't even know that you also did that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like in high school, I was pretty well into drawing portraits. Like just rappers and stuff like that. Like Tupac, Biggie, whoever really. Just draw a portrait of friends' mums who passed away, and did a lot of like pieces for people I knew. Even my friends, some of my friends that passed away, I was doing portraits of them and stuff like that. So I was always very into doing portrait work as well as graffiti stuff. So when I got into tattooing, I was like, yeah, I love the dark stuff, but like I would love to do portrait realism too. So when I started tattooing, it was pretty much any kind of realism, but definitely portrait realism. So I was really trying to push that as well as the dark stuff in my earlier part of tattooing, and I still do it here and there, but because people know me for what I do now, they don't really ask for it as much, and I don't think I really have to go out of my way to advertise that kind of work because people are asking me for what I do nowadays. But yeah, definitely got into a lot of portraits earlier on, and still do them occasionally. But yeah, I definitely love a lot of different styles in tattooing. Like the portrait realism would be the next thing after the dark stuff. And then obviously graffiti tags. I was massive on wanting to do lettering in tattooing, but I'm so pedantic that everything has to be perfect. And in my head, I feel like I'm just going to go home disappointed in myself if I started tattooing lettering a lot more, because I don't think I would have ever been as satisfied. I don't think with any style, I don't think I'll ever be fully satisfied with my effort. Like I'm always going to want to do better. But with lettering, I feel like I would be a lot more conflicted. I feel like I will really overthink it and really feel like I didn't do a good job. So lettering, I kind of just shoved to the side, and I was more just doing like graffiti fat cap tags on skin. But yeah, I like all styles. Realism, portrait realism's definitely. I still love it. I still enjoy doing it. But yeah, just don't get asked to do it. But two other styles that I really would love to double in is like neo traditional, but in a dark way. And then Japanese, but in a dark way.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've dabbled in the Japanese dark stuff a bit, but I want to push it into a different direction and dabble in it a bit more. So
And when you tattoo like tattoos in different styles, do you also approach your tattoos in different ways, or would you say not so much?
I try to sometimes, and I've come to the realization that when I try to approach it in a different way, maybe I'm not so satisfied with the results. So I try to approach it in a way that I approach what I like, the dark stuff. So I guess for me personally, it comes down to the drawing side of it more, like trying to draw it in a way that's not necessarily traditional but holds some traditional values, but trying to tattoo it in a way that I would tattoo every other day.
Yes.
And that's the hard part, trying to really break it down into a format that is drawn the way I vision it. That seems to be real tricky. But yeah, I feel like not much changes when it comes down to technique, because essentially I love the bold lines in my work nowadays, and a lot of those styles involve bold lines, so the principles are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Solid blacks, bold lines, open skin, stuff like that. It's all very, very similar techniques that I would apply to those styles as well.
Then the people would still be seeing that is your work.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the stuff that I have done, which is more on the Japanese side, people are definitely recognizing it as my stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really cool because, my element's been added and it's recognizable as a bit of a offside, like a side thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
And last time you did a guest spot here, you tattooed like a half leg sleeve almost on the guy.
Yes.
And today, your customer had like his full torso
Yeah.
almost filled with your work.
Yep.
Are you like doing more big tattoos now?
Mostly, yeah. I think there's still, a good 20, maybe 30% of people who will get like just a one hit forearm piece, like, the inner forearm or the outer forearm, or they want a gap filled. But for the most part, a lot of my clients are starting to push towards doing full leg sleeves, full arm sleeves, full backs, full fronts. Some of them are even starting to push towards half body suits, full body suits. So the transition's been pretty cool, because you really got to think about things in a whole different way.
Yes.
You've got a flat spot on your inner forearm. It's just that flat spot. You don't really need to, like, you still got to think about pardon me. You still got to think about placement and stuff like that. But when it comes to the large scale, the placement has really got to be thought out a bit more. Like, the composition is super important. And I think when you start to go from a small tattoo on a inner forearm to like a whole back, bum and legs, you really got to adapt and think outside the norm. It's a very different ball game compared to just tattooing a smaller spot. You really got to think differently, and you very quickly learn. Once you've done your first large scale piece, you kind of look back at it and you reflect and you go, what would I do different next time? And
Yes.
I already hate that, because I already know what I could do different next time, or you know what I mean. So the transition between small to large is massive, but I think the more you do it, the more you like become addicted to wanting to do more large scale. You see the vision of how you could do it better next time, so you're like, fuck, can't wait until someone else wants like a full back and bum, so I can really transition the composition onto their body on a large format.
Yeah.
Definitely changes everything.
Yeah, when I do large scale work, I always think like, oh fuck, we need so much more sessions. It takes so much time, but then in the
Definitely.
end, it's like worth it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the other thing. I used to be very when I'd do a forearm piece, I'd want to finish it in a day, and you see a lot of other tattooists do, like a spot like that over 2 days, or they'll not finish it completely, and then they'll do another session on them a couple months later or a month later or whatever. But for me, I always wanted to see the finished product straight away. So transitioning to like large scale work you have to have that patience, and you have to know that it's something you have to see through throughout time. And like that first session, second session, and even third session on a back piece, you're kind of like, fuck, is this going to be good? Because it's still in its very, very loose, unfinished stage. And it's not until you start to get to the 70% point that you go, fuck, it's coming together now. So it's very different, and it's very nerve-wracking, because the whole time you're almost going through that process thinking, have I failed my client? And then you get to 70% of the project and you're like, yeah, it's looking cool now. Like I can relax and just have fun with it. So that first 50% of the project is, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, and you just got to be able to see it through to see the results that you want to see at the end. So it's very, very different, and requires a lot more patience and a lot more money for your clients as well. So and not everyone can get time off work. So you might want to see them every month, but sometimes you might not see certain clients for a year or two. Things happen in life, and people are busy and they're trying to make money to get the tattoo. So, in a perfect world, doing 2 or 3 sessions every month, like 2 or 3 days in a row every month is like, that would be ideal. If the person's able to do that, that's awesome, because then we can keep the style very similar throughout the process. Whereas when you start to go, all right, we did this back piece 4 years ago, and now we're coming back to do the second or third session, you've learnt so much more over that time. So it doesn't have the same motion to it in compared to someone who's smashing out sessions on a regular basis. So I guess that's definitely another aspect there as well. When it comes to large scale, that makes you go, fuck, it changes everything when people have big gaps between those projects in terms of, a back piece or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. For example, I made on a customer of mine a big portrait on his thigh, but then he went to jail, and then when he got out of jail, he moved to another country. And then he came back, and then when I saw the tattoo, he asked me to finish it, and then I was like, now I tattoo so differently with these new techniques and stuff. What I learned, it will look very I don't know how this will
out of place. Like it just won't look right. I've definitely come across a lot of clients who are like, yeah, man, I need you to finish my arm off, or finish this piece off. And I'm like, bro, it's been 5-6 years. I've adapted so much, I've been tattooing for a while now. So not a heaps long time, but long enough that when you start to see stuff come back from over 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, I have stuff coming in from a year ago, I'm like, fuck, I tattoo so differently now. And just even down to placement again, you will put a piece somewhere on someone's arm, and that will be the only piece you do, and then they come back 4 or 5 years later to do more on that arm, and you're like, fuck, why did I do that? Now when I do an arm, I'm doing a concept that takes up the whole arm, whereas back then I would have just been like, hey, I'm just going to do here to here, and then sometimes that can trip you up in terms of how you continue it when they come back to do their arm, because everything changes over time. Your whole style changes, your placement changes, your knowledge changes. So very much sometimes you can come back to a project and be like, fuck, I'm not down with this. So yeah.
And is it the case with you when you have customers that ask for large scale work, that you prepare them mentally in any kind of way, or
prepare them mentally?
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, I tell them you're gonna fucking die today, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't say that, but I essentially I instill fear into them. I'm like, this is gonna suck, man. Heads up. And I like clients to have the worst expectations, because I've noticed over time in my career that when people come in with easy, when they think it's going to be easy and they're like, yeah, I've got a good pain tolerance, they're usually the ones who crumble straight away. you tattoo them for the first 5 minutes, right? And that first 5 minutes, they're like, yeah, it's all good. And then 10 minutes later, they're like shaking or they're moving, and they hate getting tattooed. So it's funny because they always say, I've got a good pain tolerance. And they're always the ones who are they don't have a good pain tolerance. So I always try to set my clients up for the worst. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, this is going to be tough. It's going to be shit. And more often than not, from my own personal experience, when you go in with the worst expectations and it's not as bad, then you're kind of surprised and you take it a lot more differently. You find it a bit easier. But the second you go in too confident, game over. So yeah, it's always good to make sure you don't let them be too confident, I think. So that's my preparation.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what has been for yourself your most painful tattoo?
Nipples.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's fucking hard work.
Do you have them blacked out?
Not blacked out. It's like a little bit black, but a lot of like dark, properly saturated, like grey tones and stuff like that. So, and then I haven't fully completed my armpit yet, but what we have done in the armpit so far, or near it, is like really solid black, and that fucking killed me. And that was the first day out of 3 days in a row. I was like, fuck, I've got another 2 days left.
Oh shit, that's
How am I going to get through this? But again, that set me up to expect the worst on the second day. And we did my ribs on the second day, which I remember the first side of my other side of my ribs, I was like, this is fucked. So when I came to the second day, I was like, man, I know what the ribs feel like on the other side, and I've just done my armpit. Like, it's not getting any easier for me throughout these 3 days. But the second day I came in after doing my armpit, and we started doing my ribs, and I was surprisingly okay. I had mentally braced myself for the worst. So I got through the other side of the ribs a lot easier because I did the armpit the day before. So yeah, that was pretty wild. But yeah, armpit and nipple have been the hardest ones yet. And I definitely would say anything on the chest for me personally was pretty hard. I got a pretty bony chest. So anything in that sternum area has been pretty hard work as well.
And do you have a favorite tattoo on your body?
I would say my front and my neck. Yeah, probably top two. Front's still in progress, and the neck, it's a statement piece. You know, it's out there to the world.
Yeah.
So you want the best possible work on a space that's going to be visible all the time to public. So I was very selective on who I wanted to do my neck, and same with my front. Just really cool work, and yeah, very excited to have them, and very excited to finish my torso. So.
Do you have already planned when you're gonna finish it?
The torso?
Yeah.
We've got a session in June or July in Melbourne.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a bit of a slow process because my mate is from Melbourne and I'm from Adelaide. It's only a 1 hour flight away, but he's very busy and booked out and traveling. He was usually traveling quite a lot, and I'm very busy and booked out and traveling as well. So putting that together and trying to coincide with a time that works is, so there's been, I think, 1 year gap between this next coming lot of sessions and the last sessions we did. So we had 1 year gap between that, and then there was 1 year gap before that. And yeah, when we started it off, we were smashing it out. It was pretty frequent, but then it slowed down because of our travels and our booking and stuff. So it's a bit slower now. So I think we'll be kind of finishing it up this year, I reckon. Nice. Hopefully.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. Finally get that out of the way and move on to the next spot. So yeah, excited.
And if customers want to book with you, how can they reach you?
Two or three ways. You can either email me on Raydemstattoos@hotmail.com. Obviously Facebook and Instagram. you can DM me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you wanted to use my website as well, that's Raydemstattoos.com. You can sign the booking form, which goes through to my email as well. So either one of them.
Yeah, I will put all the links in the description of the video.
I'm not too fussed how people contact me. I know some people are a little bit more like no DMs, only email, but I'll take bookings from wherever people want to inquire.
Yeah.
So,
Just message this guy.
yeah, message me.
So if you made it so far and you like the episode, please like and subscribe. And as he said, doesn't matter if you email or send DM, just message him. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bro.
That was a solid one, man.
Perfect up. Thanks, bro.
Perfect dab. Oh yeah.